Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, we have new data out of Michigan's 3rd. We're going to look into it, but we have a rhino, Peter Meijer, the leprechaun weirdo, is going to be out of there. He voted to impeach Donald Trump. He's awful on literally every single issue. He's a disgrace to the epic, great Meijer supermarket chain in Michigan. But as a result, he is down big and down bad and potentially could get down by even more as we get closer and closer to the August 2nd primary. But it is not looking good for Peter Meijer, and we're going to discuss why. And there's a lot of caveats. A lot of people will try to defend him. They'll run psyops for the neocons, psyops for the rhinos, and they'll try to trash the legitimacy of this poll and basically go out there and say that Peter Meijer's the only one that can win this district, even if he's weak or whatever. That's all lies, and we'll discuss why in this video. But first of all, I have to tell you guys about our newest sponsor over at Support the Second Coin. So you could support gun owners, gun rights, and the Second Amendment entirely free for a limited time. Just cover shipping. Liberals are very angry that they are giving away this free gun permit coin to support the Second Amendment. You get 10 per person max. It's a promotion to celebrate the grand opening of the website. There's also a Trump watch available that originally retails for $24.95. You can get that for free too. Made of stainless steel. All orders are fulfilled within 24 hours on average. It's epic. Make sure you check it out. The link is in the description and the pinned comment below. So either way, big data poll, which is an internal poll, which again, you're going to say, well, it's an internal poll. You shouldn't always trust internal polls. And that is true. There's a little bit of skepticism to be had with most internal polls. However, at the end of the day, still, that is a massive margin. It doesn't matter exactly how the poll is biased. I mean, even if you cut that margin in half, John Gibbs still has a lead of approximately, I guess you would say, 10, 15 points or so. And also, he's almost at 50%, and if you're nearing 50%, you're pretty much home free. Peter Meijer could use his funding and get all of those undecided voters out to the polls for him, but it's not exactly going to add up or matter at the end of the day. And this is so true, and it would make sense looking at the fact that a lot of the other impeachment 10 have fell flat on their face. Even David Valadao, who did not have a Trump-endorsed opponent and was seen as the only one that could win the district that he was in, he only got approximately like 40% of the Republican vote, and it was split between many other Republicans who really didn't have that high name recognition. So it kind of tells you the impeachment 10, they are the rhinos we've really been focusing on getting rid of. A lot of them retired because they couldn't win. Other people like Tom Rice, they just tried to wait it out for the primary cycle. He failed. He fell flat on his face. Dan Newhouse will likely lose. Same thing with Liz Cheney. And I don't see why Peter Meijer is any different here. Obviously, in Michigan, Fred Upton is in the district to the south. He will likely go down as well. But furthermore, it's important to understand the fact that this is a poll that has been very accurate. Big data poll is Richard Barris's poll. They consistently have gotten the Rust Belt down almost entirely correctly in 2016 and 2020. They were banned from Nate Plastic's 538, not because they sucked, but because they were too accurate and they were a massive threat to the election mafia. And Richard Barris has been a staunch, opponent of Nate Silver and has called out his lies and BS for years on end. So that explains why. And people are going to say, well, they got Georgia wrong. They got the Georgia primary wrong. But everyone got the Georgia primary wrong. The only thing that you could look into is the fact that maybe they underestimated the amount of Dems that were crossing over and voting in the GOP primary. But other than that, I mean, every single poll in Georgia did. I'm not going to say that that diminishes their credibility at all. They didn't have David Perdue winning. They had Brian Kemp up by close to 20 points or so. He won by a lot more than that because Perdue's base just didn't exactly show up. And polls this primary cycle in the South haven't really been that good. They weren't really that good in Pennsylvania. They really underestimated McCormick, but at the end of the day, they were pretty, on point in Ohio, and if anything, have underestimated the America First candidates time and time again. And even though David McCormick is a total neocon grifter, a lot of his base was actually like Trump's base, who thought Oz was too liberal, but also like didn't know that McCormick was worse because McCormick actually ran a good like campaign with good messaging, one could say. So that kind of explains it. But either way, Barris's polls have been dead on accurate time and time again. It's the neocon losers that want to just prop up these rhinos because they think they're the only ones that can win these districts that have a problem with him now, just now. They didn't have a problem with him, a year ago or so, but now they have a problem with him mainly because of that fact. But beyond that point, you're looking at this and you're seeing the fact that it also has Gibbs up in the general because they'll say Gibbs is too far right to win a general election. They'll say that. And this is a district that voted for, I believe the new district is Biden plus 8. But this is not I guess you would say, an even national environment. We went from D+4 national environment to back in 2020 when it was Biden plus 8. We're probably going to see more than an R+4 now. That would be enough in and of itself to get Gibbs the victory over the Democrat who, admittedly, not a lot of people know who he is. And then you look at the fact that Scholten actually is beating Peter Meijer by 12 points in this poll. Now, there's a lot of people undecided, a lot of Republicans in this poll who hate Peter Meijer. Many of them could go third party. I doubt very many of them would vote for Scholten over Meijer unless they just want to punish Meijer. There are voters like that do exist. Trust me, I'm from Michigan. I know all about it. A lot of contrarian voters out there. But beyond that point, it is true that a lot of people could just leave that slot blank with Meijer. And I don't think Meijer is necessarily much more electable than Gibbs after the stunt that he's pulled. He's not just this quiet guy that's like optical. He's insane. He's just a weirdo, leprechaun, creepy diva on Twitter, trashes Trump all the time. He got elected because of Trump, because of Trump's name. He was able to, grift off of that. But now when push comes to shove, it doesn't matter. That's out the window. Now all he has to his name is Meijer, the store. I like Meijer, the store, and he's probably going to be working at a Meijer come November or actually come January after he departs Congress because he's not going to win. He's not going to win the primary. If he won the primary, he could win the general, but I'm not going to say that he'd be, outrunning Gibbs by like 7 or 8 points like some of these people say that he would. I just don't see that happening. This district is changing. A lot of people that are turning out to vote are angry at Biden. That's why they'd vote Republican more so than anything else. But furthermore, I think Meijer and Gibbs could both win in 2022. I do agree, however, with Trump on the ticket, they both would lose in 2024. And this seat very may well go. However, Gibbs is somebody who is, very promising in terms of a future political leader. If he wins and he gets into Congress and he's fairly solid, he absolutely would be a front runner to take on Debbie Stabenow in 2024. And either way, that seat, we could eventually give that up. But I'd rather give the Dems a, congressional seat as long as we can get somebody really good as a senator, like another Blake Masters, Vance type in Michigan in the process, because that's what you get when you get Gibbs. You look at his platform. I believe his platform is very solid. He's America first. He talks about the fact that America's more than an idea. These were radical talking points back in 2019. If you said America's not an idea, we're a people, you couldn't say that. But now you have John Gibbs. He's out there talking about it. The Overton window is moving in the right direction. We are winning. No more of this America is an idea. You could have like 10 people and our documents on some island, and that's America. No, America is a people. America is a land. We have a language. We have a faith that's shared, that built this country. And this is so true. And John Gibbs talks about all of this in his platform. He mentions election integrity. He mentions, cutting spending, bureaucracy. He talks about the economy. He touches on the bread and butter issues of the economy, which is what he needs to do. He doesn't go out there and say, we need, the free market, virtue signaling like for Reaganomics. He doesn't do that. He talks about, we need lower taxes, but our main priorities have to be, curbing inflation and just helping out the American people. He goes on to be tough on crime, drops 1350 in his platform. This guy right here, he's not a classic whatsoever when it comes to this. He's strong. He brings a lot of substance to the table. He's objectively based. He goes on to talk about strong families, the importance of them, medical freedom. Then he goes on to talk about immigration and says we need to renew an emphasis on assimilation, limit immigration, all immigration, legal and illegal, has a very good platform all around, talks about healthcare, education, taxes, etc., talks about everything, talks about putting America first, all that stuff. And it's just a good campaign all around for a primary and also for a general election. He will win, mainly because of the national environment. His district is anti-Trump, but is it necessarily anti-Republican? Even if that Republican is relatively Trump-like on policy, not necessarily. His district voted for Biden by 8, but I'm pretty sure that James only lost it by a couple of points or so. And in this national environment, it is going to be a red district, and I think that John Gibbs is that man to do it. Either way, we have to go big or go home. It doesn't matter. Peter Meijer is awful. Again, somebody that's voted for gun control, voted for amnesty on every single meaningful issue. This guy right here is no different than a Democrat. This is true. Voted to impeach Trump. Voted for the 1-6 Commission. Criticizes Marjorie Taylor Greene more than he criticizes any member of the Democrat caucus. He held Bannon in contempt of court. He just goes on. You know, you look at his foreign policy, it's also awful. He's awful all around. And he's a shill for Ukraine as well. So that's what you have with Peter Meijer. I don't see why that's any different than a Democrat. He is a Republican in name only by all objective measures. And if he wins the primary, a lot of voters know this and might just not vote for him. They might vote third party against him. And he, if anything, is the electoral liability through and through. I mean, the only thing he has going for him is his name, and he's tarnishing that name in real time. John Gibbs is somebody that brings substance. He's very intelligent. He is very right-wing on the issues, but that's not necessarily a testament to his unelectability. It's more of just a testament to the fact that he is going to be very solid, but he also has good optics and could easily pull in some independent voters and will likely have the funding to do so over Scholten. I don't even know who Scholten is, but the Democrat frontrunner Scholten, nobody's heard of this guy. John Gibbs is rising through the ranks. He's endorsed by Trump, but he's his own entity. He's not just this guy that says, Peter Meijer voted to impeach Trump, therefore Peter Meijer bad, and Peter Meijer needs to go. I'm pro-Trump, MAGA, hashtag let's go Brandon, hashtag this, that, and the other thing. No, he brings policy substance to the table, and that's what you need to do. He is pro-Trump. He supports Trump's agenda, but he has a personality other than just this generic, I'm going to be a MAGA caricature, who has like nothing going for him other than the fact that, he likes Trump. Because somebody like that, probably wouldn't do that well in this district. However, John Gibbs is a strong candidate. The Overton window is moving, and the way that he portrays himself on the issues and on everything, it's very solid and it's going to be very hard for them to really attack. What are they going to do? Say, he said 1350, he's racist? I mean, the guy's literally black. Like, if you try to use that frame of logic and reasoning, it's going to bounce off against him more so than other people. It's funny. The same thing goes for, like, Mark Robinson, who is very far right, and he outperformed everybody in North Carolina. And a lot of the electabros actually like Mark Robinson because of how, like, electable he is or whatever. And it's like ironic because if they looked into the issues at hand there and just saw that for a generic Republican, they'd be like, no, you can't even run this guy in Alabama or Mississippi. Like, they're going to be an electoral liability or whatever. But no, Mark Robinson portrays himself well and he wins because he brings substance to the table. He's just a likable guy. You know, he's out there saying 2 genders, ain't none but 2 genders. Like, everybody's seen that clip. It's hilarious. We love Mark Robinson. He is going to be a future star in the party. He's going to be the next governor of North Carolina. So I think it's a similar phenomenon here with John Gibbs, more so than anything else. I think that if they're going to be levying the attacks on somebody like Mark Robinson or John Gibbs, like, you're too far right, you can't win, it's like, it just does not optically add up to be a solid attack because of the fact that John Gibbs is not even like white. So how are they going to go out there and call him like a white supremacist? I mean, they'll try and they'll be just laughed at for it. The same thing that they've done time and time again over the years. It's laughable. But John Gibbs is a great candidate in and of himself, just mainly for the substance he brings alone on policy. And Peter Meijer is a leprechaun weirdo, has horrible optics. I mean, this guy, really? This guy's the guy you want in Congress? Yeah, I don't think so. Not anymore. I mean, he was carried to the finish line in the primary, but even so, he didn't do that well. And he has a lot of money, but a lot of money isn't going to help him. I don't really believe it will. And you could point to Tom Rice for that reason. You could point to a lot of these people that were vastly, backed by the establishment. Liz Cheney's another example, but if they're hated enough, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. Peter Meijer's going to go down. John Gibbs, America First John Gibbs, is going to win this seat in 2022, and then in 2024, he's going to be the next senator out of Michigan, building that pathway to 62 Senate seats for Republicans if possible. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, buy the merch, join the website. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.